I have a 17-year-old daughter. She's a senior in high school. She's bright. She's kind. She's beautiful. She's generous. She's very smart. And she's romantic. She has all the feels. She kind of takes after her mother a little bit.
I was going to say, just like you raised her, right?
And she's got a boyfriend.
Oh, gross.
I know. He's a nice kid, but is not the most motivated. And they are not going to college together. He'll be a couple hours away, so driving distance. But I'm worried that their relationship is going to interfere with her college experience and that she's going to be fixated on him and kind of avoid school or other new relationships at school that are like right in front of her face. So how do I throw some cold water on this?
I don't think that's going to happen.
That's not what I want to hear.
I don't think it's going to. I spent my whole career working with college kids, and I used to tell them in orientation, just break up now. It will just save you some time. And I was always amazed at how many people went home and just broke up. Like they needed an excuse to do that. And B, a few didn't, and then they ended up getting married. But that was you're talking 1 out of 1,000. Maybe. Yeah. 1 out of every 2 or 3 years, a high school romance made it, right? That happening is very, very rare.
Okay.
What I think is happening is your daughter's about to leave you, this amazing, wonderful young woman, and that's just hard.
Yeah, it is hard. I think if you raise them right, you should get to keep them.
I do.
But instead, they grow up and they launch and they be their own person.
It's the best and the worst. My wife, when my son was born, I think I've said this on the show, she said, hey, we have one job, and that is to raise and I was like, oh, here we go, raise a good man. And she said, raise a kid that we like being around. Yeah. And it just now has occurred to me. My son is 14. He's halfway through high school. His freshman year of high school. I love having him around. He's hilarious. He's funny. Yeah. He can be serious. He's thoughtful about things. He makes fun of me in just the right, appropriate way. And the thought of him being gone in 3 years, I'm going to lose somebody that I like spending time with. You know what I mean? And I was so ready to go. My dad was so ready to get me out of the house. It's just not like that. And I have to be careful not to be pre-sad. And so that way I don't miss the awesome moments that I've got right now.
Yeah.
But she's going to feel like she loves this dumb boyfriend. And as much as a 17-year-old can love anything, she's going to be in love. And, ooh, gross.
Oh, they're in love.
Oh, I know, of course. But have you taken her out? Did you have boys in your life that you, as a romantic, that you overloved?
I married the first one.
Oh, gross.
I know.
I don't want to wait.
I know.
All right, dude. Sure.
Yeah,
Dawson's
freshman
Creek
in college.
Oh, so you got married as a freshman? You
met
him as a freshman in college.
Dating, we met,
fall
of freshman year and married within a year and a half. So, yeah.
Okay.
It was.
Have you taken your daughter out for breakfast and had that conversation about it was the greatest thing ever and I kind of wish I'd waited?
Yes.
Okay. Y'all have had that talk?
Yeah. Okay. And just wanting, and it's gone through her high school, they started dating in the fall and we've seen some change in relationships with her at school. We've seen her disengage from some of the activities that she once was really into. And so that's hard to hear and see. And one of her teachers said, she doesn't recognize her anymore, that all of her energy has just gone into this boy.
Well, and it's not too late to put some boundaries on it if you want to do that.
Well, so what we've done is we've said, we've got to take a step back. You can see him one-on-one twice a week. And if you want to see him anymore, meet him at a basketball game, go out with friends, do those kind of things. And so we've tried to do that, but she's smarter than me and she's kind of sneaky and she can I don't want to have to catch and discipline every little thing. I don't know.
I got that. Is she sexually active?
No.
Are you certain?
No.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure not.
You need to have that
we've
conversation.
Yeah.
Have that conversation. Because it is that infatuation switch. It's not always, but it is very often almost what feels like a mania to see each other at 17, 18 is almost always have some sort of physical intimacy linkage to it. And it may just be holding hands. Maybe it's just, I feel so good holding hands. I feel so good just kissing you. But that's definitely worthy of a conversation.
Yeah.
Have you sat down and said like, hey, the light's going out in your eyes. People are noticing. I'm noticing, not people. I don't want to blame other people. I'm missing my daughter.
Yes.
Okay. How'd she hear it?
She said, I'm trying to do the things that we want her to do to engage, or I don't know. She's come back and said that the school stuff that she's been interested in is now dumb, that she doesn't like the people, that she's lost those relationships.
And there may be some truth to that. Well, here's what I always want to look at with a high school kid. I always want to look at trend lines.
Yeah.
And if I watch a kid, suddenly their grades fall. If I watch a kid and suddenly the things that they've loved their whole life, they just fall off a cliff. And that's different than like, hey, I'm a senior. I don't want to play football anymore. I don't want to play volleyball anymore. Like it becomes a job and I don't want to do that anymore. That's different than I just don't go outside at all. Or I just am glued.
I think there's some of that.
Glued to my phone 24/7.
Stuff about just pulling away. Yeah. I think she's kind of pulling back just as that senioritis and getting ready to change. And
sure,
that's a big time in life. It's
very much so.
Deciding who you're going to be outside of your parents and growing up and going to college.
And by the way, that fear that you have, that, oh my gosh, this really wonderful, great, amazing person that we've grown to like not only love because we're their parents, but just value them as a human. They're about to leave. She feels that too. Yeah. And sometimes having a boyfriend gives somebody a permission to have that pain put somewhere else. And my only concern with a 16 or 17 or 18 or 19 or 25-year-old is that they channel that into healthy behaviors. Because a way to numb that pain can be sex. And a way to numb that pain can be sneaking alcohol. And a way to numb that pain can be sneaking Xanax. Mm-hmm. And I know that's not going to happen to your kid, except that for 20 years I sat with teenagers and their parents because it happened to their kid.
Yeah.
Right.
It's scary.
It's terrifying. But that's why I'm going to be pretty clear-eyed and go straight into it. And if I feel like I'm losing my kid, not my kid is head over heels on some romance, I'm fine with that. In fact, I want them to practice some of that while they're in my house because she's about to be 18 and wheels off, right?
Right.
And so I want them to practice some of that head over heelsness in my house. But man, if I see the light going out in my kids' eyes, I'm going to get involved with that.
And so what does that look like? Like, how do you restrict time together? I don't know.
I mean, you can do whatever you want. You're the parent. And there is a balance between sitting your kid running away and turning your kid into, like when you say like she's kind of sneaky, I don't want to have a sneaky relationship with my kid. I want him to tell the truth.
Right.
Right. And also, I'm not going to shy away from, hey, dude, I'm losing you.
Yeah.
I only see this, only hear about this when people have discovered how fun sex is. And I need to know, like, I need to know where you are.
Yeah.
And that might be the time for you to say, like, dude, I was 18 too. I was 19 also. And I fell head over heels. And I don't regret my life, but I wish I'd had some things back. Maybe not. Or maybe it's the alternative. Maybe it's like, man, I fell head over heels and I remember how hard it was to stay plugged into my values, to be safe, to be smart or whatever.
Yeah, we've had that conversation. And I think that it's just distant, right? Like, I fear that she's one who's going to have to learn things by going through them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she doesn't seem to. And I just don't want her to fall flat on her face.
Have you tried making a weekly, hey, for the next, until the day we drop you off, every week you're going to have breakfast with me?
No, that's a good idea.
I would say this is mandatory. You don't get to miss this, or I'll take your phone away. Like, I mean, I would do something caustic on the other end of it, right? And with a smile on my face too. But like, you have to do this. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you the questions for humans. It's going to sound kind of nutty. I'm going to send you the questions for humans couples deck 1, 2, and 3. And I know that sounds weird, because you and your daughter aren't a romantic couple, but you can get some insight into how she is metabolizing this new relationship by asking some of those questions in that deck. And I want y'all to go to breakfast together and just say, we're going to do 10 of these questions. Oh, God, are you serious, Mom? Yes. And it may be that breakfast 1, breakfast 2, breakfast 3 are annoying. And then it's breakfast 6 out of nowhere that she's like, hey, I don't know how to get out of this thing. Or he's really pressuring me too. Or I took Xanax for the first time. I took 3 of them and it felt really good. I don't know what to do. But this is where you begin to not just talk to her, or more importantly, most parents talk at their teenagers. It's a place for their nervous system to know, even though their head is like, they're just old fuddy-duddy parents, or they don't understand, or their head can do that all day long, but their prefrontal cortex hasn't developed yet. But their nervous system will know she's safe.
Okay.
She keeps showing up.
Now, is this helpful if my husband goes too? Like, is
he needs to do his own. He needs to do a different one.
Do it on his own?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And maybe the rule is, for every time you go be with this boy, you have to go on a date with me.
Okay.
Y'all get to decide what these rules are. But this is going to cost y'all money, and more importantly, it's going to cost y'all time. And what I'm telling you is that's the single greatest investment you can make in this young woman right now.
Okay.
And I know this is very unpopular. I am not going to allow a 17-year-old to put themselves in situations when I know they're being unsafe sexually, when they're being unsafe with substance abuse, just because most of my career was dealing with the ramifications of that. I was afraid to give boundaries because I didn't want them. I thought they were going to rebel. And then now I'm looking at an addict, a 19-year-old who can't function. Or I'm talking to a 20-year-old who's got a new baby. And so I'm going to err on the side of not being liked and keeping my kids safe. Then I don't know. You're right. So I'm going to head right into that. And I know parents don't like to hear that, but I'm also going to not be harsh without being loving too. And that's where this time, we're going to go to breakfast. We're going to breakfast. We're going to breakfast. We're going to breakfast. And I'll tell you this, as my son's entered into high school, now we might not do this forever, but now we alternate who's got a big question for the other person. So the one 2 weeks ago was, I asked my son, hey, we're going to talk about the death penalty. Pro and cons. When do you think it's appropriate? Is it appropriate? Is it not? And dude, we had an amazing hour-long conversation about the death penalty, what it does, what's the actual statistics on it, what's the data on it. A guy at my church is an attorney who works with death row inmates, and so he's got the actual data about how insane some of it is. And so we had a great conversation. The next week, it was his job, and he said, I want to know what makes somebody a ride or die friend for you. Dude, we talked for the whole lunch on that. It was an amazing conversation. But again, those are big conversations, and maybe you can make a list of, I'm going to ask you 3 big questions, and then you're going to ask me 3 big questions. So you've got to come up with what you want to talk about and give her an opportunity.
Okay. I can do that.
Yes. And I don't think this relationship will last for whatever it's worth. Although you were the 1 in 1,000. Well, no, you met as freshmen, so y'all met at college, but.
Technically, yeah. We were young.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, I want to get her to a fully mature frontal lobe without like a felony, a pregnancy, an addiction. What are the other big ones? I don't know. Just those big things in life that follow you everywhere. Like,
did you have felonies?
No.
Did you or your husband struggle with addiction?
No.
Does your daughter know in her nervous system that she's fully and deeply loved?
She does.
Okay. She's probably going to be all right.
I know. And when I look at just all the things that, God's divine intervention in, he's got his hand on her and she's got to walk through some things, I know, but
and I'm not going to ever get upset with a 17-year-old for being in love and being curious about things that feel good. But I am going to be really direct with my wisdom there. Right? And that's that curiosity over judgment. When you talk to a 17-year-old, like, you should not be, they're going to blow you off. But when you're like, oh yeah, dude, sex rules.
Yeah.
And man, it's not safe for a 17-year-old. Your heart's not ready.
Right.
Right. And so being able to have that conversation is just a different tune. And I, as a parent, dude, I can't look myself in the mirror and say I love my daughter, knowing that I'm putting you in this situation if this is what's going on. I wouldn't be who I said I am, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that, the daughter you just described to me, she would understand that. She wouldn't like it. She would hate it. She'd be mad at you, but she would understand it. It's the same. I think I've mentioned this on the show. The greatest compliment my son ever gave me was, we were having another disagreement about social media because I'm a Luddite and I won't let my son have it. And Snapchat especially, I think Snapchat's clinically insane for kids to have that. Parents to give their kids Snapchat. But I told them, I finally said, hey, tell your friends at school that your dad is a loser and he sucks and he's an old man and he just won't let me have it. And he, in frustration and exasperation, said, I can't say that because that's not true. And when he turned around, I was like, oh yeah. Like, right, he gets it. And dude, I get it too. Nobody wants to be the only one or frustrated or whatever. But yeah, 17's that transition time, man. And now for you guys, y'all are on the clock. You're on the countdown to, it's almost time to go. It's almost time to go. And maybe your husband takes your daughter out and says, or you take your daughter out and ask, all right, what are the 10 or 15 things you think a good husband has? Let's see it. Does dad have those? What are 10 or 15 things you want to wrap your head around when it comes to the person you'd like to marry? And that might be a way to get her to stop thinking about this kind of dud of a 17 or 18-year-old boyfriend, begin to write some of these things down, and y'all could talk about them. Like, oh, you think this one's a big deal? It's not. Oh, you think a six-pack of abs is the most important thing? It's not. You think this is not a big deal? This is a huge deal, right? And you can begin to have some of those conversations. And you got to be honest with you where you and your husband are falling short of some of those things. So it just becomes a very authentic, vulnerable, direct, loving, curious conversation with your kid as she's making this transition from somebody you can boss around to somebody you're going to have to influence positively and let her know you're going to make dumb decisions and I'll always be right here. Thanks for being a mom that cares. I have a feeling she's going to be great. I have a feeling she's going to be great.